So part two of my adventure in Mauthausen in 1995. Uh, so as I had said before, I had met this woman on the train, spent the night in this little village at a Chinese restaurant, and she had invited me to accompany her at the commemorative ceremony the next day in Mauthausen. So I didn't really know what to expect, and we woke up and I'm still in my choir robe and choir whatever I had on. I looked like, black death. I don't know what, it was terrible. And we got up and had breakfast and we walked up the hill. There was a very long hill up to the actual camp, and it was absolutely packed. There were hundreds and hundreds of people waiting to get in, and there was probably thousands of people there. And she walked up, there was a table set up for VIPs, and of course she walked right in. We walked past this huge crowd, and she said, this is my friend and she's going to accompany me today. And they said no problem, and she got kind of a package, and we walked right in and sat down right near the front. There was maybe 20 rows of chairs for VIPs, and then a huge open space for the crowd. So I got to go in and sit right down, and there was people talking, and my memory of this is that there was always kind of a guest speaker, and then people would kind of chit-chat between the guest speakers. And I was sitting with a group. This woman was from Liechtenstein. So she was with all of the survivors, and basically it was the children of survivors from Liechtenstein. And I was, this very young and very inquisitive, and they all started telling me their personal stories about what happened. And because they all knew the stories, and they told me, and with each other within the group could kind of relive their stories. And oh yeah, I remember that happened to me too. And so I was kind of a connector for this group, and it was mostly women. And so it was fascinating to be listening to them. And the guest speakers were VIPs. It was, I don't remember the president at the time. And the speaker I remembered the most was the American general who freed the camp and found the camp. They didn't know, the general said he didn't even really know what was there, and then was, of course, horrified at what they had found. And that general had not been able to go back since 1945. Since the day he and his command, his troops, freed the camp. So it was very emotional for this general to speak. And they also had the actual survivors march in, and they all had their tattoos showing on their arms. And just very, very powerful, emotional kind of march they did in. And it was all men. There were no women, and they were all very old, of course. And so I was with them and heard several speakers, and it was kind of, again, time was getting along, and I needed to get back to Vienna, and I wanted that afternoon to take the tour through the actual camp and go through the gas chambers and kind of take the tour. So I said goodbye to these women, and they all hugged me, and I said goodbye to the woman from Mannheim, and she thanked me profusely, and I think it was nice for her to have somebody to go with so she didn't have to walk in by herself and stuff, and I was, of course, thrilled to go.